Hey there. It's another beautiful day. There's a lot going on in Florida right now, and in the wake of Helene, I'm taking a page out of the government handbook and running a little bit of distraction. So, back by zero demand whatsoever, I give you Flat Earth. Let's watch some stuff.
So yeah. Now tell me about this. You got the Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
You are passionate about the concept of a flat Earth.
Obviously, yes. I've got a shirt that says it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, yeah, it has to be.
So tell me about your flat Earth theory.
Well, it's not really a theory when it's true, but
Okay.
well,
Prove it to me that
prove it to you.
Earth
Okay,
is flat.
where would you like me to start? Like, I need your proof for a ball first.
Okay. Well, tell me first of all, what is at the end of the flat Earth?
What's at the end of space? How can you have an answer for one question, not have an answer for another question?
But is the Earth not finite?
Just depends. Like, well, we can't even say that because we can't actually go anywhere below Antarctica or outside of Antarctica because of the Antarctic Treaty. I'd love to, but, you can't.
What do you think of space travel that shows the Earth?
I just laugh at it. It's pretty funny. It's the best joke I've ever heard, actually.
The best joke? You don't believe in space travel?
The car in space and all that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, if the Earth is truly a globe, 40,075 kilometers, 100,000 kilometers in equatorial circumference, there's no curvature anywhere.
Right.
Like, I live on top of the mountains and I can see the city. There's no curvature whatsoever.
I went up the plane.
Yeah.
I went to Concorde once and you could see the curvature of the Earth.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
It was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
you saw it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe my cameras are broken. Maybe they're all got fisheye lenses. I don't know.
I don't know, actually. But anyway, I don't know what's going on.
That's right, we're doing this again. We're watching Flat Earth TikToks. Even though I'm a globe propagandist, I love listening to the opposition and hearing out their case and giving them a little screen time as well. I'll do my best not to argue.
One of the greatest proofs that the Earth is flat. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting in the heliocentric model of the Earth, the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. While doing that, we're chasing the sun at almost 500,000 miles per hour. So we're corkscrewing and spinning through an infinite universe, never to return to where we were before. The Georgia Guidestones had a little hole drilled in the middle stone, and if you look through it, there is the star Polaris, our North Star. How can we be traveling in all these different directions, traveling infinite distances, and that star just always remains in that hole? There's no way it would be in that circle a day, let alone 40 years. But it was there.
Somebody blew it up.
Yeah, somebody definitely blew them up. And the Guidestones weren't even there for very long. And if they were there for thousands and thousands of years, I'm sure that what you see through that little hole would have been different over time because the stars do change position. But the change is so minuscule because they're so far away. And I'm arguing.
Why don't we see any land when we're looking down at the ocean from the space station?
Why? Because you're over top of ocean.
Okay, well, don't you think they could be fooling us with this picture?
Okay, I give you this.
Wait, watch the picture. Watch the picture.
I know
Watch
that they've airbrushed some stuff.
It's not
out.
airbrushed. This is us in our front yard and a solar panel, and we tricked you, showing you how easy. We have zero budget. They have $65 million a day. NASA says, these are new planets, okay? Would you believe? Why would you believe that?
Why wouldn't you?
Because they're frying pans. They're the bottom of frying pans. Again.
That was a good trick. Flipping the image over, that got me. I thought that was an actual NASA image. The planet frying pans, did he create that one as well, or is that an actual image from NASA?
Doesn't anybody know that Zen Garcia proved that the Earth was flat in a court case in 2019? Yeah, that's right. All that he wanted was somebody to prove that the Earth was actually curving 8 inches per mile squared, or going 50 miles per hour at least. Spinning. And they say that we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour. And both of these things seem to be really hard for the heliosexuals to prove. He actually won in court not only once, but twice. Bottom paragraph halfway down. William Thompson applied to the contest but was never able to produce not even one real-world verifiable scientific experiment which would or could confirm the rate of curvature as decided upon the mathematicians and scientists themselves should the Earth be 24,901 miles in spherical circumference. He even gave some awesome sources on why the Earth is in fact a level plane and not an oblate spheroid. Please pause and read them.
Yeah, I got nothing. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It'll really help out my channel. And if I may direct your attention over here, we're on our way up to 500 subscribers. You can hit that subscribe button and come back tomorrow because I'm making a new episode every day.
It's flat.
Yeah, I believe the Earth is flat.
What piece of evidence made you start believing?
Well, I looked into the moon landings. I don't believe that we landed on a moon. There's a lot of evidence to support that. We've only gone up to 1,000 miles above the Earth's surface.
To imply that the Earth is flat, you aren't just saying that NASA is lying. You aren't just saying there's a conspiracy within a single company. You're implying there's a conspiracy involving the world's 71 space agencies, 13 of which have launching capabilities. Not only are you saying all 71 of those agencies are lying about the shape of the Earth, but every single person in them is lying or being fooled by their respective companies. Furthermore, every single astrophysicist in the world is, by your implication, a scam artist getting paid to do research through telescopes and instruments that would be useless if the world were flat. So roughly 75,000 people are lying about what they do for a living. Not only is it absurd to even imply that NASA program that under the United States government could possibly pull off this sort of conspiracy, but the fact that all 71 space agencies around the world are also taking part in some conspiracy, and every astronomer and astrophysicist and astronaut is also part of the same. It just seems that so many different people are involved in this major conspiracy.
Yeah, all the
Now, you know I'm not going to go just straight all flat earth arguments. I got to have arguments for both sides. And that is a huge argument. How can all of these people be lying? I mean, they are a part of the government, so are we that surprised? But I'm still team we went to the moon. Let's go.
Like, you talk to some pilots that have been flying for 30 plus years, there's no question in their mind, it's flat, number one. Number two, the images that you see from space, from NASA, those images, they've sent balloons and things up higher, just regular people trying to prove that that's bullshit. There's no curvature of the Earth. Have you ever been up into space? Have you ever seen the curvature of the Earth? The answer is no. And then when you look at Antarctica and you look at the map of the United Nations, it's all flat Earth symbolism. And then when you think of outer space, but when you really look at flight patterns, that's when that is unbelievable. Because if you said, okay, I'm going to fly from here to here, and you would think you'd just take off and you'd fly there, right? But you fly here, and then here, and then here. And people are like, wait a minute. As ridiculous as it sounds, and again, let's not edit out the part where I'm like, I feel dumb even like entertaining it. But in reality, dude, if you look into it and you really pay attention to what they're saying, how does it work?
I'll give them that. Sometimes you look at flight paths and they are a little interesting.
If we really live on a flat Earth, then what would be the motive in lying to us and telling us we live on a spinning ball? Well, first of all, money, and lots of it. Space and space exploration makes trillions of dollars. NASA makes $69 million a day off your tax dollars. That's bigger than all the McDonald's in the world makes a day. You can Google it. Now that's just the materialist's motive. I think it's way deeper and more spiritual than that. Because we are talking about the ancient depictions of Earth, the biblical depictions of Earth. Because modern science would say that the universe was created by the Big Bang. Think about it. Universe. One verse, one string of words. You see, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He spoke it into existence with just one string of words, and he created a vaulted dome, also known as the firmament, and the new version of Earth doesn't have a firmament. So how come if the globe is the truth, it can't just fight fair and allow flat Earth to be what it is? Allow it to be what we really believe, rather than try to poison the well? Well, it's because the demonic forces and principalities that rule this world are liars. You see, the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not. A lie needs your permission and participation to even exist in your mind. Now, if this were the truth, would it feel the need to lie about this to try to strengthen its argument? No.
A lot of people do reference the Bible when, trying to prove that the earth is flat and that we have a firmament. I understand that. When that is your belief, that's something that you believe. I personally, as a non-religious person, it's not my jam, so that's not my go-to explanation for why I think the earth might be a specific way. But as far as NASA having all of that money every day, in a previous clip we saw about all of these companies and all these people just keeping their mouths shut, that is an awful lot of hush money. Although I don't believe that the earth is flat, I believe that money is going into other special projects like alien stuff.
This comment looking for proof that the earth is a globe comes from a flat earther in Australia, I believe. And I've watched some of his content, and he attempts to prove that the earth is flat by showing the stars at night, again, I believe in Australia, which is amusing and ironic, because looking at the stars in Australia versus looking at the stars where I am is actually evidence to support the fact that the earth is a globe. Let me explain. You see, I live around the 40th parallel north. And because the earth is a globe and curves like a ball the closer to the top you get, when I look out at the night sky, I'm kind of looking up at an angle. And when I look straight up, I see constellations like Ursa Minor and the North Star. Now, there are parts of Australia that are below the 40th parallel south, which is essentially on the opposite side of the earth to me, right? So when those folks look straight up at night, they're looking at an opposite angle to the way I'm looking when I look straight up at night. So they can actually see different constellations at night that I can't see at all, like the Southern Cross, for example. Conversely, they can't see the Little Dipper or the North Star. And the constellations we can both see are inverted for them. Again, providing us with some very simple, observable evidence that we can all go outside and test, proving that the Earth is in fact a globe.
All right, amateur astronomers, let's hear it.
Let's talk about the Coriolis effect. It's the idea that when something leaves the ground, like a bullet from a gun, the Earth continues to rotate underneath it. According to this, bullets should slightly veer off course due to the Earth's rotation. But here's the catch. If that's true, then airplanes would have to account for the Coriolis effect too, right? Yet they don't. Now let's break this down in simpler terms. The Coriolis effect suggests that when a bullet leaves the barrel of a gun, it's no longer rotating with the Earth. The Earth supposedly keeps spinning beneath the bullet while it's in flight, meaning the bullet would land somewhere different from where you aimed. But if this was such a crucial factor, why don't airplanes traveling for hours at high speeds have to adjust for this effect? It doesn't add up. This isn't just about bullets and planes. This concept doesn't hold up in many real-world situations. You don't feel any motion under your feet, do you? You don't see the Earth curving at the horizon either. These are just a few things that make more sense on a flat, motionless Earth. Now you could come up with 100 explanations for why you don't feel the Earth spinning or why you can't see the curvature. Or you could take the simpler, more logical path, the Earth is flat and not spinning at all.
Yes, there are hundreds of explanations, and they're mathematical and scientific as to why the Earth is round, yet we view it as flat in our scope of view. But the path of least resistance isn't always the correct one. It's just the easiest one. Use your brain.
I personally believe that this is the closest depiction of what the Earth actually looks like. As we all know, or should know, we live in an enclosed system. Therefore, there is an ice wall surrounding this entire planetary system, in which we are in the middle of this enclosed system. And outer space is not real the way they described it and showed y'all. Outer space is not actually above us and out of this planetary system. Outer space would be this outer layer that is outside of our ice wall here in the middle. Extraterrestrials or aliens do not come from above outer space. Extraterrestrials come from beyond the ice wall.
Even though I don't believe this theory, I think it's super cool. And like the ice wall, and on the other side of that is our other planets and like the alien planets. And I like it. I enjoy it, even though I don't think it's factual.
I still haven't convinced you that Antarctica isn't a continent, but an ice wall that surrounds our level, flat realm. Well, stick around. We're going to get into it a little more. And hey, that's a funny name for an island. Let's start by looking at this little known fact. Do you know that Antarctica is the highest continent on Earth? The average elevation is 8,200 feet? That's pretty interesting. Not only is it the highest, but it's the highest by a landslide by over 1,000 feet. Now, why would that be? Could it be that you're living on something like this, where water lays level like it always does, and it's surrounded by a container known as Antarctica? You need to ask yourself, have you been programmed to believe something that isn't true? Because we always see that water lays level. It never looks like this, no matter how far you can see straight out or left or right. Water is always level. And did you know in 1946, the United States government sent a fleet of Navy ships down to the Antarctic ice wall and not continent in a little operation called Operation High Jump? That's a curious name for a continent.
Who blazed the way for Operation High Jump, the great expedition of 1946-47. Admiral Byrd was officer in charge of the project. The rest of the Argosy pushed on, right up to the ice barrier of the Ross Sea. Up to the ice barrier of the Ross Sea shelf.
You see, they say that operation was about potentially seeking out and destroying a German base down there. But what I believe it was is exploration past the ice wall and seeing what was beyond, because we didn't know at that point. And what I think happened is they found the firmament. They found the barrier keeping us all here in this realm. Because the stories that came back after Operation High Jump were highly suspicious. They talked about seeing alien crafts and things like that, even to the point where Admiral Byrd put out a statement saying that he was worried that attacks in the future could be coming from the air, not the sea.
We've talked about Admiral Byrd's flight over Antarctica several times on this channel, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding those flight journals and whether or not those are actually his. But as far as that old footage, how they called it an ice barrier, that's interesting.
Ever wonder why, after all the supposed moon landings and trips to space, we can't seem to get past low Earth orbit today? Think about it. In 1969, we were supposedly landing on the moon, 237,000 miles away from Earth. But now, in 2024, we can barely get a satellite beyond 1,200 miles. What happened? Here's where the problem gets interesting. Between 1969 and 1972, we're told humans went to the moon 6 times, capturing iconic images like the blue marble. Those images were supposed to be the end of the flat Earth debate. NASA showed us those pictures, declared the Earth a spinning ball, and the discussion was supposedly over. But there's just one small issue. Where's the curvature? In 2024, no one on Earth can detect the curvature of the planet. Seriously, pilots, sailors, and engineers all work with flat planes. No one takes the curvature into account in their calculations. How could something so fundamental, like the curvature of the Earth, be invisible? And while we're at it, we've never detected the Earth's motion either. That's right, Earth's supposed to be spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, hurtling through space at 67,000 miles per hour, and yet there's no sense of motion. No test has ever been able to prove that we're spinning. So what's the deal here? How could we have gone to the moon 6 times, taken a bunch of pictures, and now, suddenly, we're stuck within low Earth orbit, less than 1% of the distance to the moon? Here's the kicker. NASA now tells us it's because of the Van Allen radiation belt. They claim it's too dangerous to pass through. But if we got to the moon back in the 60s and 70s, how is it an issue now? Something doesn't add up. What if, instead of radiation belts, the real reason is something even more profound? Something like the firmament. If you've never heard of it, the firmament is the idea that we're living on a flat plane inside an enclosed structure. And this idea isn't just from modern flat earthers. It's echoed in ancient texts and beliefs across different cultures. The firmament is a barrier, preventing us from going beyond a certain height, keeping us within this enclosed system. Let's break it down further. Think about the way NASA presents space missions. They show us CGI images, cartoons, and animations. But where's the actual footage? You'd think with today's technology, we'd have clear, unedited footage of astronauts flying through space, but instead, we're handed CGI composites. The so-called photos of Earth, like the blue marble, are often admitted by NASA themselves to be composites, a fancy word for photoshopped. So, why can't we get past low Earth orbit anymore? Why are we still stuck sending probes that don't go farther than 1,200 miles? It's because we're enclosed. The Van Allen belt is just a convenient excuse to hide what's really out there.
Without agreeing with everything that was just said there, why haven't we gone back to the moon? I can't help but wonder. And a lot of people can't help but wonder. And some of these excuses, I don't buy them. What's going on the moon that we're trying to avoid? Oh, another point I want to address is the feeling of motion. The reason we don't feel the motion is because we are at constant motion. When you are in a vehicle and you only feel the acceleration and the deceleration, but when you're driving at 65 or 80 miles an hour, however fast you decide to go, I don't judge, you don't feel that you're going that fast. So there's that.
Is Antarctica a continent? Or is it an ice wall surrounding us on the level plane that we live on, containing all the water? Because water needs a container. It always lays level, like water on the lake, water in the sea, and then water in the pool. Like, it always lays level. And then you have this nonsense right here. Like, huge problem here, guys. I explained this in my last video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But yeah, no container, no level water. Like, where's all that at on this curved ball? But by the way, this is CGI, along with many other pictures that they've took of Earth, supposedly. Yeah, all these pictures are produced from a computer. But I can already see you guys' comments saying, well, why don't they have a picture of a flat Earth? Or why don't y'all have a working flat Earth model? One, is we can't go to the North Pole. And two, we can't go past that black line, which is the 60th south latitude. For all we know, there could be more land.
The appearance of water being flat is used a lot when trying to prove that the Earth is flat. It's the curvature that we're not seeing because it's such a low percentage based on the amount of land that there is and the amount of land that you can see. If you can see infinitely, I'm pretty sure you'd see the curvature.
The Earth is flat. Said no airline pilot ever. You flat earthers got all excited. Let's talk about it. When we fly a long haul flight, we don't just depart and track direct for our destination. You would think that would be the quickest way of getting there. Well, it's actually not. We fly what's called a great circle. It's a curved line. A great circle is the shortest distance between 2 points on a sphere, i.e. our Earth. To prove I'm not talking absolute garbage, let's have a look at flight radar, which tracks aeroplanes in real time. This flight here, it's a long haul flight. Now, they are not flying in a straight line to their destination. They're flying a great circle. I love my job, but pilots do not want to spend any more time at work than they have to. Aim of the game is to get the passengers to their destination as quickly and efficiently as they can. We're not up there cutting hoops in the air just to log more time. I hope this video clears it up for anyone that has any doubts. Send this to your mate if they're a flat earther, and I cannot wait to see what the flat earthers have for me in the comments.
Well, I'm obviously not a flat earther, but we can all agree on one thing. Nice shorts. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this little distraction. I don't want to take away from the devastation that is going on our East Coast right now, but I will have an update for you tomorrow morning. As for me, I'm calling it today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.